Hi, Jay here. Just before we start today's episode, there was a once we'd finished recording the show today, I kind of listened back to my recording, and it's a little glitchy in some places. The Everything's there, the whole show's there. There's a few little bits where my recording setup was just like, nope. So it's just kind of compressed or it speeds through it. It's all there. Most of the episode is great. It's just a few little bits where it goes a little bit iffy. But if you can stick through that, you'll enjoy this. This is a fantastic show, a lot of fun recording with Jeanette. So I hope you enjoy listening to the show. Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I'm your host, Jay, with a Y, Cluett. Welcoming you on board Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. On this show, we've talked about the entire Deep Blue Sea trilogy scene by scene. We're doing it again, but we're also talking about Deep Blue Sea adjacent films. That's films directed by Rennie Harlin featuring aquatic action or sharks. And it's happening. It's finally happening. I think I've said on numerous shows we would never do this, but we're doing this. We're covering Sharknado. What is Sharknado? Well, as my wife thought it was called Sharkido, she called it the Shark Torpedo. But no, Sharknado is a shark tornado film from 2013. Sci-fi channel original, made by The Asylum. Stars, is it Ian Ziering?
Yes,
Yes, not Ian, Ian, okay.
Iron.
The guy who has gone through his entire life going, actually, it's Ian. To everyone he meets. Fine, that's his name, great. It stars Ian Ziering as Finn Shepherd, former surfer, current bar owner, thrown into the midst of a shark tornado, the Sharknado, with the likes of John Hurd, Tara Reid, Cassie Servo, Jason with two A's, Simmons, and a bunch of other
The
people.
Australian
We'll get
spelling
into
of Jason.
I don't know if that is true. It just seems to be like my name is Jason. That is throwing me for a loop as to I'm seeing that for the first time now. Like, what is okay? Yeah, directed by Anthony Ferrante, written by Thunder Levin. Just one of the best names.
His real name.
Yes, his real name. True. This is Sharknado. I mean, it was a cult. It was a phenomenon. It was a more successful hashtag than it was a film, I think, when it came out. But we're not going to talk about it. And no, Mark's not here because Mark didn't want to talk about it. And that's fair. So instead, I found someone out there who doesn't just love this film, but this franchise, and we're going to find out why. Jeanette Ward, one of the Deep Blue Sea regulars, one of the Deep Blue Sea players. You can be heard on most episodes of Deep Blue Sea at the moment. Welcome back to the show, please. Welcome. Hello.
Oh, thank you. What an absolute joy. I can't believe it. So excited to discuss this absolute disaster of a movie in the best possible way. I do have with me my book, How to Survive a Sharknado. There it is right there. It's got the foreword by Finn Shepherd and April Wexler. And it does have chapters on various things that you'll find in Assorted Asylum and other sci-fi Saturday night creature feature movies, how to survive each of them. There's a whole chapter on the Sharknado, what you need to know, how to wield a chainsaw like a boss, Nova's recipe for grilled shark steak, what to do to survive, where to go. It's a great book. You probably should get it.
I feel like I should at this point, yeah. I did not know such a book existed.
Oh yeah, there's a chapter on Sharktopus. There's a chapter on the Kraken. There's a chapter on the Electro Kraken, because what's worse than a Kraken? An Electro Kraken. There's one on the Dino Shark. One on a rock monster, because sometimes it's so yes, strong recommend. You can get it on Amazon. It's Prime Day. It's probably on sale.
Sure. So yeah, this is the second Asylum or sci-fi. Did they do Sharktopus? I think it was Sharktopus.
If they didn't, it was tangentially connected. It was another like Sci-Fi Channel Saturday night creature feature. For a while, they were doing original movies every Saturday night with just the craziest premises. Picking like either a has-been kind of or major B movie star and throwing him into an absolute zany circumstance with some sort of bizarre creature. Which what I love is they usually have some sort of eco-friendly loosest of plot strings. Like, we'll get to it with Sharknado, but also, with like, wait, let me get the name right. With Lava Lantula,
Yes.
It was global warming that had Steve Gutenberg, and of course the sequel to
Two
Lava
lava,
Lantula.
two lantula.
That's right. It's flawless. With the popular, the Arachnoquake, which featured Eddie Furlong. That one was an anti-fracking movie. So, there were earthquakes and then arachnids. Listen, I don't have to explain it. The title of these movies tells you exactly what they're about. Ice spiders. It's about, there's a lab up in the mountains that's doing experimentation on spiders. They get real big. They come out on the ice. They hunt down skiers. If you've never seen a skier hit a jump and then be snatched out of the air by a horribly CGI'd spider, do yourself a favor, watch Ice Spiders. It's got Stephen J. Cannell as an actor.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, my friend. You do, even if you don't.
Okay.
Once you Google him, you'll be like, oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's responsible for all the greatest TV shows of the 80s.
You said Stephen Giacchino?
No, Stephen J.
Okay.
Cannell. Cannell.
J.
The A-Team. All of them.
I've never seen the A-Team.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Well, to be fair, though, you are a bit younger than I am, so that makes sense.
Well, from the guys I work with, they disagree that that's a valid excuse. Because they're like, you haven't seen the A-Team, get out. I've also never seen Baywatch. Like apparently that's also a crime.
That seems even stranger to me because that you should have seen at least some of it.
I mean, I feel like it had a reputation for being the kind of show that a kind of person would watch to do a kind of thing. And I growing up, I was very much a square. I'll say it, a nerd.
Sure.
This is going to surprise everybody listening, I'm sure. So I was like, I'm not going to. This disgusting Baywatch, horrible show. Yeah. So
understood.
Yeah.
That's legitimate. There was for a while there, like in the afternoons, you could catch. Well, no, I feel like A-Team would be on in the mornings, but then the afternoons you'd hit like Xena, Hercules, Baywatch, Highlander, like all those shows would be on kind of the same time.
Yeah, I've seen none of those. Sorry.
Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Sharknado.
Yeah, so I've checked, and Sharknado was a sci-fi. Sorry, Sharktopus was a sci-fi film, but not an asylum film. So it's only one half of the Venn diagram. But Sharknado, both. It's in the overlapping section. It's both of them. It's one of the sci-fi originals. It's not one of the Transmorphers, Atlantic Rim.
Oh, of course.
It's
Atlantic
its own
Rim.
thing.
Yeah.
And it's very much title first. Well, I don't know. I feel like the title and the concept are both as ludicrous as each other. Like, what if there was a tornado full of sharks? / what if there was a Sharknado? Like, I don't know. It's hard to say which one came first, but it's an intriguing premise. It's one of our less plausible films, and we've covered some implausible films.
Well, but there are recorded instances in hurricanes when you get flooding into the cities. If you've got a lot of those coastal sharks, they'll get swept into the cities. It was an issue with Katrina.
Sure,
they had
yeah.
some of those Mississippi bull sharks that were swimming around. Admittedly, they're not going to be sucked up into the tornado and raining down on the city.
And I'm going to guess when the sharks were able to swim on the streets, cars weren't able to drive on them at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sure.
There seems to be a disparity of depth. Like this is the kind of film where time, space, depth have no relation, not just from scene to scene, but within the same scene, and it's fine. We're going to establish early on. This isn't the kind of film to come to for realism. This is the kind of film to go to for nonsense. Well, actually, that's
no.
I think this was my first time seeing Sharknado. I haven't seen any of the sequels. As I understand it, you have seen them all.
I've seen them all.
Okay.
I watched because I was a fan of the Saturday night movies, and so I was watching them regularly. Now I caught this one when it first aired, and the thing about Sharknado, and the reason it has a reputation slightly different to some of the others, is that when it dropped, it had a relatively low viewership that night in terms of the other like sci-fi movies, but something about it hit on Twitter. It became this, like you said, hashtag where celebrities started tweeting about it. Like, I'm watching Sharknado, it's insane. And so then it picked up to the point where they reran it and then reran it again. And each subsequent airing had bigger and bigger viewership because of the social media storm around it and the fact that they were probably just making another dumb movie, and this one for some reason just connected with people on a level of crazy and stupid that I think everybody was kind of looking for at the time. So it got legs where others did not, and then spawned sequels and sequels. And I think that's why you asked me which of them is my favorite a while ago, and I the second one might be my favorite because by the time they made the second one, everyone wanted in. And the level of there's a barely a hint of a plot in this one, but it's there. Second one has no plot.
Okay.
There's no plot. There's just a Sharknado. It comes to New York, period. But the amount of celebrities and people who are like, I want to be in it, and then they just show up in the movie for no reason whatsoever. That one, while this one is like semi tongue in cheek, that one is just, we're all aware what's happening. Everybody just wants to show up and have a good time, and that's what we're going to do. So that one is even sillier.
I'm not at this point saying we're going to cover every Sharknado film. There are...
I would strongly recommend you don't.
Well, I know there are 6. I have a guest lined up for 2, and I have a guest lined up for 6. So, which feels like the wrong way of doing things. I feel like the guest lined up for 6, that's kind of he wants to do it, but his schedule is up in the air at the moment, so it'd be a case of we'll get there at some point. And maybe
That's right.
I'll watch 3, 4, and 5, and I'll have you and the guest for 2 come back. We're just gonna talk about them. I don't know. Maybe we'll do each of them. We'll see. I've got Heather's gonna come on to do 2. So I'm gonna watch 2. I'm gonna talk about 2 with Heather. I will then watch 3. And I will decide what happens after I watch 3. Is where I'm gonna cover 3 after I've watched 3, and we'll go from there. But at this point, we're covering the first 2. That's what's gonna happen.
I am, and I've said this, I feel like I say this to you all the time, but I will say this again. I love this movie. I am in no way saying it's a good movie. Just to be very, very clear. I'm aware of how bad it is. That doesn't mean I love it any less.
It was, I went into this with basement expectations. How Did This Get Made did an episode on this when it came out 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Which seems insane.
Yep, they did
and I remember
job.
listening to that at the time. And all I could recall was at some point someone gets eaten by a shark and then somebody else dives in with an active chainsaw and saves them. That was all I knew was going to happen at some point in this film. It didn't quite get how I had in my head. Different characters, and we'll get there because that's the end of the film. But that was all I knew going in was that happened. And then, so I kind of knew the level of insanity we were going to get to at some point, because that is amongst the most insane things to happen in cinema, I think.
In any movie of any time. Yeah. And How Did This Get Made did just re-release that episode as one of their matinee Monday ones. So if you haven't heard it, strong recommend you do. It's now available for free on earwolf.com.
So that was the level of insanity I was expecting to go in. But it kind of ramps up to that. It starts out as, I'm not going to say grounded, but like a relatively straightforward, it starts out with a scene from Deep Blue Sea 2. Starts out with a shark finning hunters and a deal going down and
evil scientists, and again, it's got an anti-climate change, anti-shark finning message in
and
there, which I love.
I mean, it's always annoying that shark films still have to do that. I watched Last Breath recently, which is a very recent shark film from 2024, and that has the same kind of premise of there's this, they find a sunken ship. And they go exploring it, thinking it's going to be safe. There's no sharks here, but global warming has caused sharks to move and come into this area, and so that's still being used as a plot point.
It's still being used because it's still happening. Shark Week was last week on Discovery Channel, which of course, whenever you release this, might not be, but you can. Hey, if you got Max, you can catch all the Shark Week programming on Max. It's a legitimate issue. Climate change is genuinely changing the way sharks behave, and there are specials on Shark Week every year. It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. The reason you get more attacks is because sharks are having to go into different areas. So, while it seems repetitive, but it's also a legitimate threat, so it's going to keep being in shark movies. We're not ever going to get less shark movies because they're great, so it's going to keep happening.
They're great, and crucially, cheap.
There it is, here. There it is.
And there is an audience for them, I hope, because they listen to the show. So, and it's easy to make a shark film entertaining. I feel like they were genuinely trying to make almost sincere. Like they were trying to make a good film. That's goes a little bit out the window with the sequels. We'll see. This one at least trying to, because they didn't know what they had. They didn't know how much cult following it was going to garner. So they're just trying to make a film. I feel like they were mostly successful. I'm going to say outside of the casting of Tara Reid, who may be doing the worst acting I've seen in my life.
Yes, agreed. And I will say she gets better in some of the others. She seems like she's either not there or not paying attention, or maybe they had her for one day and this is the best that they. But in the others, she's more present. If that makes sense.
Yeah, she seemed distracted.
That's the way to put it. Yes.
And had I not known she was in the sequels, I would have been expecting her to die any second because her character is awful.
Yeah, no, once they started making more of these, they did end up going. They were at San Diego Comic-Con like every year doing panels. The two of them and Anthony Ferrante, the director, and she. I don't know if maybe she wasn't. I don't know how to put this. Wasn't aware of what it was, but then once it got going, she was more on board and seemed more dialed in. But in this movie, she is. Not there.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, her character's awful, and the acting and the delivery and everything is stilted and not
yes.
good. So it's those two together, and then just about that she's in the film constantly and survives.
Yes.
All of that combined makes her awful in this. So I look forward to that getting better.
The movies get worse, she gets better.
Good. Okay, that's something at least. And I mean, I have taken so many notes for this film. I feel like we could be here for days. And my wife said, "Is it going to be a long one tonight?" I was like, "I really don't know." We'll be done at some point, but yeah, I want to go through the plot, but there's so many scenes I want to talk about that will just be reciting the script, and that's it's such a bizarre film with so many bizarre set pieces, and
starting with the first one, which is of course that anti-shark finning.
Okay.
Scene where we get a boat captain who seems to be at meeting with some sort of generic businessman who's there to discuss shark fins of some sort.
He's there at sea.
At sea.
So this is like an at sea meeting where the guy is in a suit.
Yes.
With a tackle box full of money.
To do a deal.
Everyone's vaguely foreign.
Yes. And the boat captain says something to the effect of, "There is a pod of 20,000 sharks migrating this way." Well, first of all,
no, just no.
There are some sharks that cluster together and migrate in huge numbers. I don't believe pod is the right word. I think that's used mainly for whales. But I'm not here to talk about the science of this movie. You just gotta let that go. But yeah, that scene, does it matter? Is it necessary? Sure, sort of, I guess. Does it make any sense? Maybe. How's the lighting? Oh, terrible.
Well, I mean, that's just consistent for the film. This is a film set in LA, set in California. It's the greyest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's no color.
Like every scene, there's like color correction from shot to shot. When Finn's out surfing, you get some shots of him surfing. They cut to the beach that he's just come from, that is in a different country in a different decade.
Yeah.
The
the amount of stock footage that's used.
Repeat it. Not just use the same thing again. This is the one shot of an actual shark we have, and you're going to see it 20
We'll just use it over and over and over again. Yep.
It's a big shark with two smaller ones swimming towards you, and that's it. It's in deep ocean, but we'll show to you when there's a shark just going down the street or in a house.
God, and the establishing shot of Finn, and I guess it's character development so that we understand he's a former pro surfer or current pro surfer who owns a bar at it just goes on forever, where we just see an opening scene where this, storm starts to kick up towards this, I don't know, migrating pod of 20,000 sharks, as they say.
It's a shiver. It'd be a shiver of sharks.
Thank you. Great. They don't say what species, which is interesting, because in this movie you get
it's a mixture.
Every species. Yeah, it's what's next on your list? What's the next set piece?
Well, I just want to say that the end of that opening scene with the shark fin deal, when everyone gets sucked up in the tornado, I guess it's a cyclone, is what I think. When that happens and it takes the boat up, it's just a shot of the main guy stood on the boat, looking left and right, as sharks whip or wind, I'm not sure if there's sharks in it at that point, whip past him and take his face off. That's kind of cool. Not gonna lie, that was like, oh, that's okay,
Because
great.
surely, as
I'm
a
on board.
shark blows by you, carried by a strong wind, it's just going to be slicey. Just slicey. Just
Yeah.
slice up whatever it flies by.
It's like the that side of the cheese grater
Yes.
that just slices. That's basically what sharks are. They're mandolins. Great. I was just kidding. So yes, we meet Finn. Finny Shepherd is his name. Iron Zuring. He's the bar owner. He's a surfer. He's got a mate, Baz Hogan, who, to surprise you, is from Australia, or from Tasmania, but from that region. It's just Jason Simmons. I refused. Who, he has a jet ski. It's clear that Iron Zuring has never surfed, and this guy has never really jet skied.
Which,
but they're out
because
on
he was on Baywatch, and I feel certain that he did some of that on
maybe he has.
Baywatch.
Okay.
I don't remember. If you're thinking to yourself, Jason Simmons, Baywatch, I don't remember. He was the Australian guy, if that helps. I don't remember what season, what year he was on.
Iron Zuring, I know that he was from Beverly Hills 90210. I had for some reason in my head that he was like a sportsman. He wasn't an actor. He was like a former American football player who would just like they'd hired for this film. I don't know where that came from in my head, but that's what I thought.
I enjoy that.
No, he's an actor.
Yeah, he's a full-on actor. He did a stint on the Chippendales show in Vegas. He was with them for a bit too. Every once in a while, they have like a celebrity host/dancer, and I think he did that for a bit.
Okay. If they want podcasters, they should look elsewhere. Would not be suitable. So he owns a bar. He's out serving sharks. He's happy to stand in the water and yell, "Everyone get out of the water, there's sharks," while sharks just kind of hang out around him and don't really bother him. He's like immune to sharks, it seems.
Yes, he's.
He goes out. So there's a lady he's surfing with who she gets eaten. We watch her put on her wetsuit for an uncomfortably long amount of time, and Baz is like, "Oh, a lot of scenery around today."
Oh boy.
Okay, well, good. Yeah, Baz has a lot of choice lines of dialogue throughout this film, none of which are good. And he survives far longer than I thought he would. So Baz gets bitten on the leg by a shark. Finn manages to get him back in. Lots of people die on this beach. But still, Finn's bar, very full later on.
Yep, they just go with their day.
A lot of people just kind of still hanging out on the beach, or just like milling around with people dying around them and sharks everywhere. Because like Baz is like his leg wound has been dressed, but then just later that day in the bar having a drink, showing it off to people. And so in the bar we have Nova, played by Cassie Serbo, who is the barmaid, and we have George, played by John Hurd, the dad from Home Alone, playing Norm from Cheers. So far as he's called George, he's playing George Wendt's character.
Yes.
He's on the corner bar. He loves his stool. He doesn't want to go home. He's getting his bar tab. I'm currently going through Cheers. I'm on like the 9th season at this point.
So you forget that very easily.
Norm's here. Yeah. And when they decide to leave because sharks are being thrown through the window of the bar, he takes the stool with him because of course he does.
They come through the window, they land, and then they kind of whip around, look at chomp on things. A lot of bites.
Yes, and a lady in a bikini gets dragged away from the shark. Others are less likely. I think a pool cue is used to stab it in the head.
Of course.
Nova very good at killing sharks.
Yeah.
It must be said. She's like pretty adept. It is clear she does hate sharks. She really hates sharks. She has good reason to really hate sharks, and she tells us this, and then she reminds us that she hates sharks. So yeah, there's storm coming in. The bar gets destroyed. The storm destroys buildings one by one in this film. Only one.
It's a slow-moving hurricane that spawns several tornadoes.
Yeah.
Sharknado didn't have the same ring as Sharknado.
Yeah, Sharknado. Why is it just sharks? What happened to the other aquatic creatures?
You mean why aren't there like octopuses and manta rays and Pacific sunfish?
What's the squid name?
And the sea lions and the sea otters and the sea urchins of all, piles
the
of
crab.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. Why only sharks? No clue.
Oh, there'd be so much seaweed.
Yes.
That just hangs out on the surface.
Yes.
That's what will go up. Oh, God, it'd be awful. But it'd be a net. You get stuck in that.
I've been to that beach in, that Malibu beach there with the, Ferris wheel. And yeah, the amount of seaweed. And dolphins, by the
Ferris wheel
way.
not there anymore.
Dolphins, sea lions, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean that Ferris wheel has been rammed into a building.
Clearly, here's the deal: mammals.
Yeah.
It's not picking up mammals.
just sharks, just sharks. Yeah. My wife watched this with me, not entirely against her will. She was like, she was doing something else, and she was like, "Do you want to watch whatever you need to watch for the podcast?" I kind of need to watch Sharknado, and there was just a real like resigned sigh of like, "Fine." So I watched it. I enjoyed her comment. She did pick up on how the shark alive. I was like, that's the point. They shouldn't be. Yeah, agreed. They shouldn't be alive in a tornado.
No,
they shouldn't be in a tornado.
They never, and they're not in water. So yes,
they say at one point like it's a water spout. It sucked up water with it. It's like right, but not enough.
Sure, right. Yeah. That makes sense. As we always used to say, the science is sound.
Yeah, the science is not the reason that we're here today. We're here for the Sharknado. Yeah, so they leave the bar because Finn's got to go and save his ex-wife, April Tara, and his daughter, Claudia, played by Aubrey Peebles. Aubrey Peebles.
Sure.
Nova has she's already asked. She has eyes for Finn. She's like tried to ask him out a couple of times. He's like, "I'm your boss." And
he's also much
to
older.
find out. Yes, he's much older. She is shocked that he has an ex-wife and a daughter.
Yes. How long had she been working for him where she did not get to know any of that? But, maybe they didn't talk personal things.
But he has custody of the children for like a week, a month, starting on the 20th.
Yes.
And
we know that because the new boyfriend brings that up. Doesn't the new boyfriend bring that up, or does April say that?
April brings it up. They both bring it up.
They reiterate to us how terrible a father he is, and that he has very limited custody.
Yeah, well, so we're not quite. We'll get there. So they head out. George goes with them because he lives far away. Nova goes with them because she lives on the beach, so she thinks her house is flooded. Baz goes with them. Because what else is he gonna do? It's Baz.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got to go with them. Got an injured leg.
So they head out in Finn's car, which, if you're concerned that how would his car work on these flooded streets, he does tell us that all of the electronics have been sealed with silicon sealant. I was like, great, good for you.
Yep.
How is it driving in water deep enough for sharks? That was my question. But that's never answered because it doesn't matter. This is when they find out where George lives. I was like, this is your regular who sits out the bar every day. You don't know where this guy lives.
Yep.
All right. Fine.
Because you must have had to call him a cab several times and give them an address.
Well, I mean, Finn is established throughout the film. He takes care of people. He likes to look after people, make sure they're okay, see people. So I feel like instead of doing that, he'll just let George crash there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's like a bed in the corner
that's
for George to sleep on.
Yep.
Yeah, he's his best customer. So we get one of our first massive nods to Jaws at this point when Baz rams an air tank into a shark's mouth and Finn shoots it to kill the shark. Doesn't say Smiley son of a bitch, just kills it. Because it doesn't need to be too obvious, I guess. They drive. They make remarks. George is a lovable old sex predator, it seems. He keeps on making moves at Nova. He did try to grab her ass earlier.
He's gross.
He is very much gross, but it's okay because he dies soon.
That's right.
So that's fine. Because Finn gets stuck in traffic trying to get on ramp and they can't get through except for they easily drive through this traffic. And Finn gets out. He's got to warn these people that there's sharks coming in. As he gets out, sharks come. Everyone gets out to help, and then George saves a lady's dog, breaks the window with his bar stool, gets taken out by a wave full of sharks. By George.
He goes out like a hero.
He does. I feel like they had John Hurd for a day.
Yep.
We can't. This is like the most known actor in this film. We can't pay him for 2 days. Which, fair enough.
But I feel like everyone, with the exception of Tara Reid, everyone in this movie understood what they were doing, and they were like, "No, I get it. I'm not taking this seriously. I'm just here to have a good time." And I feel like everybody delivered. John Hurd in particular, like he was dialed into the tone and nailed it.
I mean, there's a few small roles. Like there's the guy who owns the hardware store later. Is the hardware store or the liquor store? But he's like given the best parts of the film. he's great. And the guy on the bus, he's like really trying to give us something. Anyway, we'll get to him.
Oh, the bus driver. Yeah, that's the other guy in Anthony Ferrante's band who, if you were thinking, boy, this movie could sure use a Sharknado-themed theme song, don't worry, they put that together for the next movie.
They sure did. He's also Cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch. Yeah,
there you go.
Which a show I haven't seen, but I am aware that is who that is.
I'll know take your
Robbie
word on
Risk
one, it's not.
is the actor's name. Yeah. Okay. And so yeah, they're driving off. They save all these people, and then one car, and everyone's gone. Everyone who they've saved is running along this motorway, and then they've just disappeared. And they're heading the same direction our characters are, and they're to head off. And we can't get through all these waves. Like, how do the other people get through all these waves? It's okay because Finn is an expert at timing waves, and it's like.
Yes, because being a professional surfer, like that's
so you're just like, okay, I can't see the waves right now because there's like walls to this freeway. But go now and stop. And we're shown that once, and then we have to assume, okay, fine, he makes it. So fine, they make it. They get to April's house, high up in the hills, 6 miles inland. There's sharks pouring out of storm drains. Overflow pipes and stuff.
Yes, I actually really enjoyed that. It sounds insane, but I thought that was really funny.
It's just ridiculous, but yeah, I do enjoy like they just get sharks everywhere they can in this film. It's like the most sharks you can get.
Like they're going down a water slide. They just kind of keep popping out of the storm drain.
Mark has been trying to work out recently what is the most shark movie. He will have posted that by the time this comes out. His research has concluded that Deep Blue Sea is the most shark movie. I don't think he included Sharknado in his research.
This is a very sharky movie.
Sharky. There's a lot of sharks. Yeah, and they're not well animated.
No, they're terribly
done. They are better animated than the opening Tornado, which was done in MS Paint. You can see the lines. Anyway, so yeah, they get to April's house. There is no water outside. There is no water inside. It is essentially dry, apart from an overflowing storm drain and a swimming pool in the garden. So they go in. Well, they try to go in, and April won't let them in. And then a shark erupts from a drain outside, and Nova.
Yep, launched out as if it was in a geyser.
And Nova shoots it with one shot with a shotgun, kills it. She's great.
She's great at killing sharks.
And that's like. That gets them in, because there's sharks raining from the sky. A line from this film convinces April to let them in. And they get in, and Finn's like, we've got to leave. I've got to go and save you. You, Claudia, let's go. And Claudia's like, I'm not going anywhere with you, Dad. Ugh. Because she's a teenager.
Right, exactly. Yep.
And then we meet the new boyfriend, whose name I didn't catch.
Oh, yes.
He doesn't seem to be credited. But that's okay.
He's just a dick. Let's just assume his name is Dick.
If you wanted to make April seem nicer, this is perfect comparison. Apart from the fact that she chose this guy as her new partner, because guy is just the biggest douche. In all of just the kind of, you meet him and think, oh, you're gonna die. 3, 2, what? Just yes, he doesn't last long because he's like
exactly. Yep.
He's angry that Finn's there. Unless it's the 20th of the month, which it currently is not. You can't take your. He's just an awful person, and then he gets eaten. As soon as a shark starts eating him, because the shark bursts through the window, the house is now immediately flooded.
He's got a line, April is mine.
Yes. And which April, annoyed at that he says that, and then he does kind of back off a little bit and say, my girlfriend.
Yes.
After that.
Yeah,
he does say, she's mine. She's like, hey. And then, shark.
Which means, to me, it seems like they've had that discussion before then. At some point, she's brought up Finn, and he's been like, stop talking about Finn.
Yeah, I think so. He's clearly, well, I don't know if he's a source of tension, because April seems to hate him as well. But then April just seems to hate life. So I don't know.
All these people in this house are terrible people.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a terrible house, because we only see the stairs. There's like a very small entrance room, and then like a wraparound staircase around the room, and that's all we see. Everyone's hanging out on the stairs in this house. And the water starts coming in, shark comes in, eats the boyfriend. Suddenly he wants Finn's help. They can't help him. Everything changes when you start being eaten by a shark. The shark kind of like chomps him up bit by bit in a way that sharks don't eat people at all. But it's fine. And so Finn, Nova, and Baz try to save him. They end up like dropping a bookcase on the shark. And then Nova unloads like 8 shotgun shells into it until she's out of them. There is a bit where they're in a small room and they lose the shark, which I found amusing. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Just look up. Look around.
Could be anywhere.
How have you done this? But yeah, boyfriend dead. Shark. Finn need to get out. So Finn's like, I'm gonna distract it. I'm gonna use myself as bait and distract the shark. You will get out. And so he does that, and then magically gets out as well. And we never really know how. But the room they're in is like waist deep, chest deep, full of water. Outside the house, no water. I don't understand.
No, it was coming up through the drains, basement. Listen, again.
I thought it was going through the window.
It's best not to think about it too hard. Like, oh no, we're up to our chest in water in the house. Let's step outside. There's no water.
Because the outside water just pours out of the house.
Yes, exactly.
It's not out. But fine. Yeah, they'll get in the car, drive away. Because they're like, oh, we need to go and get Matt. Finn's son. And Nova's like, you have a son? There's another one.
He's at, flight school.
Yeah. He's at flight school, which will be an important plot point. So they head to go and find him at flight school.
It's very much like progressing around the city, collecting people, losing people, trying to get to various locations. As the rest of the city is attempting to evacuate the city, Finn and crew, because he picks up people, loses people, then trying to get from place to place to place. It's
kind of a traditional disaster movie kind of setup.
In a way.
Like, this is our group, and we add people, we lose people.
Yeah.
There's missions, we've got to go save. But they're in a world where some of the people in the world realize that there is a massive danger going on. But a lot of people don't seem to be that concerned well.
Not worried.
I keep skipping ahead to this film, honestly. So yeah, trying to get Matt. They drive past a clearly abandoned school bus. And Finn's like, oh, there could be kids in there. How many vehicles have they passed without stopping it? I don't know. But they've stopped at this. There could be kids in there. And so they drive up to the overpass above the school bus, still not knowing if anyone's inside or not. April's like, we can't stop and save them. We've got to go and get Matt. Which she says 27 times in the song. Yeah, but Finn's like, no, I'm going to save people. And she's this is why April needed to die. It was because her whole character is like, oh, Finn, you always want to help people. You're such a bad person. Why you always
that's not people? A bad thing.
I think her complaint is he puts other people ahead of like his family, which I can see that being frustrating. But also, they're still people too. Everyone's people. Help people. Help people. And so he get above on the overpass and rappels down. Bus is full of kids and Robbie Wrist from the band, and they hoist kid by kid one at a time up. Baz is doing all of this work. Finn is the one who rappelled down and is down there on the bus. True, but Baz is the one pulling up every single person on that bus, and no one gives him any credit. He's up there with the rope. You've got April and Nova at the side of the bridge helping people over. You've got Claudia just on her phone. She's a teenager.
Is she possibly getting a signal? There's no way she's getting a signal in the middle of that storm.
She's just playing Snake or something. Or whatever the games were in 2013.
Whatever kids are into, kids these days and their phones.
But Baz is pulling up he's pulling up all the kids, and then the driver, and then Finn. All of them. He must be knackered. This is going to take hours to do this. Yes. How long are they there? But they get all the kids up. An ambulance goes up and takes all the kids away and doesn't take anybody else away. But because it's like a functioning city. There's like ambulances can come and get you. It's not the apocalypse. Everything is, if you like take a step back, everything is fine. Like the world's running, everything's okay. It's just there's a weather event going on.
There's some sharks.
Yeah.
To be fair, we're following this particular family unit. There may not be sharks in any other part of the city. They may have all the sharks right here.
I would believe it. Yeah, they're magnets for sharks. No, sharks just flock to wherever Nova is. I think they know that she hates them.
Yes,
And she's
absolutely.
cursed. But yeah, the bus driver stays with the group for some reason, and he's like, I always wanted to be an actor. My mom said Hollywood would kill me, and he gets killed by the Hollywood sign. So great.
Yes. See the irony.
Yes, it's very subtle. It's yeah. Yep, no points to believe it in this film at all. But that's fine. They save the kids. Moving on. Get to Matt. They get to this flight school next. Was there driving along to the
Is this
flight school?
before or after the old folks' home?
Oh,
See,
well, first we need to lose the car. There's a shark gets on the roof of the car, bites through the roof of the car in a way that shark mouths do not work.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And immediately after that, they're like, I can smell petrol. Everyone get out of the car. And then the car just explodes. Great.
For no reason.
So they go to a liquor store, get some supplies. There's a news alert. There's a news broadcast where there's like a news alert intro music that lasts a good minute. And then they just kind of don't watch the news.
The scroll on the bottom of that newscast says children rescued from school bus.
I didn't catch that.
Oh god, I'm sorry, I just caught that while flipping through it.
Nice.
Oh my god. By the way, you can catch the movie's on YouTube, so you don't have to pay.
Oh, that's frustrating. We're watching it now because it came up. I didn't pay for it. It was on streaming on ITVX in the UK, and I was like, great, I have a 1 week trial for that. So I watched Sharknado twice this week.
Nice.
And never again. We'll see. But they need a car. Unfortunately, they're near a Hollywood car company, so they go and either rent or steal a massive Mad Max style car with like spikes on the front of it and a battering ram kind of thing built in.
Because why wouldn't you?
A nitrous button.
Movie cars for rent or sale.
Fully
Very
functioning
convenient.
movie cars. So it's from Mad Max Fury Road, I'm guessing, because all those cars worked in that. And Baz must have brought it over with him when he moved, I assume, from Australia. So they're just driving along the fully functioning roads. They're trying to make good time because they know that they saw on the news that there was an accident and they closed off some streets. So we've got to get there before they've closed the streets. Let's just drive through it. And a car chase ensues.
In their giant car, yeah.
Because there's like Sharknado's on the loose, but the cops are still concerned about people maneuvering through a crime scene. So yeah, there's a brief car chase, which is which Finn's advice to Baz is drive faster. Great. And they use a nitrous button because it's Fast and Furious references.
Yes, because why wouldn't you?
Get away from the cops. Get to the flight school. It didn't need to be in there at all. Like, I just
No.
it added nothing.
No, the whole sequence is unnecessary.
And mostly devoid of sharks.
Yeah, it has no effect on anything else, and it just, some interesting choices were made in both the shooting and editing of this.
Yes. Oh, sure. I guess it sets up that this car has a nitrous button, which is used at the end, but doesn't need to have been.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how fast your car's going when it's going into a tornado.
Well, it's just another excuse to throw in a bunch of these weird color corrected, like clearly these were all shot in broad daylight, and then they try to darken them all up to make them look like there's a storm. There's no storm.
There's no Sharknado.
There's no rain happening in these sequences. There's no water on the streets.
It's odd because I think in the production they were like chasing rain around where they were filming it to try and like do it properly.
Yeah, except there's no rain in this sequence at all.
No. Yeah.
God, this movie is ridiculous.
Anyway, so they get flight school. It seems to be abandoned. They're kind of going around the place, but they find Matt and some of the students and the instructor there hiding or on a wall or something. The instructor comes out and goes, "What's going?" and just gets sucked out the roof by a tornado.
As opposed to let's tell this man what's happening, let's simply have him be a visual exposition.
Yeah, she's never seen again, and that also takes out the planes mostly. At least the car is fine, and the helicopter is fine, but the plane's gone. Sure. And they all go back and hide in the wall, and Finn is like holding onto the door, like held up Dad in Worcester. He is more successful. We're recording this a few days before Twisters comes out, so this seems very appropriate to be like. We've just had Shark Week, Twisters on its way.
Yes.
This is the perfect film to be covering right now. Wasn't planned.
It's the perfect
but there we
movie.
are. So next to the flight school, a hardware store with bomb-making equipment, and everyone knows to make bombs, which should not be concerning at all. All of our heroes can just make bombs. Fine, great, no questions asked. Uh,
Yeah, the interesting editing choices again. Yeah, they did cut out the scene where they explained to everyone how to make bombs, and so we just assume everyone knows how to make bombs.
so they make bombs because they have a plan. If you had asked me what the main plot drive for the final act of Sharknado was going to be, I would never have guessed it was going to be they were going to try and deactivate the tornadoes.
No, your guess would be they're going to get in a
Yeah,
vehicle and get
or
the
they're
hell
going
out
to
of
try and
town until the
yeah,
tornado simply dies out, because that's the best
that's what
way
happens
to
with
handle a
tornadoes.
Sharknado. Their decision is, here's what we'll do. We're going to make bombs. We're going to go up in a helicopter. We're going to throw the bombs into the helicopter because that will disrupt the airflow, thus disabling the tornado and making it dissipate. Again, the science is sound. How can you argue with that? It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know if that would be an accurate way of trying to quell a tornado. I'm guessing probably not, but they say it in the film, so in this world, it would work. Great. This is a world in which sharks can be sucked up into a tornado and survive for a long time. And other people can survive in other conditions you expect them to die for a long time as well. We'll get there. Yeah, so that's the plan. Bombs, helicopter, tornado, happy ending. So that's the plan. So they make bombs. Baz is making an extra big bomb for like Plan B, which is drive into the tornadoes. He only makes one, there's 3 tornadoes, but whatever. And yeah, there's the old people's home next to the airport, where
Yes, the set piece of
these
the old
people
people's home.
are oblivious to there being a tornado mere feet away from them that has just killed people next door. They're just hanging out in the pool. They're just chilling. They're just having a great time.
Oh my God. And then the sharks, of course, because they're in a pool. Of course the sharks end up in the pool. How are they managed to survive and swim in the chlorinated water?
freshwater
Listen,
pool.
you can't get hung up on details like that.
So, and like Finn's like, oh, the shark's in the pool. I can fill this pool with petrol, set fire to it. Why? It's not a problem anymore. It's once the shark's on the ground or in a body of water, you're okay. It's when it's in the tornado that's the problem.
Yes.
What is?
Yes.
Fine. Anyway, he explodes the pool. He just blows up the pool.
Yeah, perfect place to like just kick the sharks and dump them in this. They can no longer hurt you because they are in the. It's not like these are the sharks that can pop out of the pool and then chase you. They don't have that capability.
But like this is an unusual shark film. In the shark films, you're out in where the sharks are, and it's you shouldn't be there. It's rare for the sharks to come to you.
Yes.
This is a film that brings the sharks to you.
It's true to real life. Typically in shark movies, the shark isn't really the villain. They're simply part of the environment, and now you're having to deal with it. This one, no. Sharks are actively trying to hurt people.
And the people are actively trying to hurt them right back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. With chainsaws and head trimmers and bombs thrown from helicopters. It's in this scene that Nova, who has been spurned by Finn a couple of times now. Well, it's the whole Nova Finn relationship is odd. Given there's the age difference, fine. He's not her boss anymore. He doesn't have a bar, so that can't be a hurdle at this point. She has learned he has a whole family she didn't know about. But as they're driving in the car, she's like, he's like, oh, that's pretty hot when you do that. And she's like, oh, great. Tara Reid, furious, and go back over the bridge. Tara Reid furiously hugged. Furious the whole time with this man she hates is paying attention to somebody else.
The dynamic, the family dynamic, because Nova very much seems fixated on Finn until she learns about this family that she didn't know about, and then seems very interested in his son,
which is fine. He's more age appropriate, yeah.
More age appropriate.
And if his dad doesn't want her, then moving on. Yeah. I forgot to mention Baz's worst line in the whole film when they're at April's house.
But how could you choose?
Well, it's an easy choice as far as I'm concerned, because it's at April's house when they kill the shark and there's a lot of blood in the water. His line of, looks like it's that time of the month. And like, what are you?
It just terrible.
For what purpose did you say this thing? Get out of this film, you horrible, horrible man. And he's still alive.
Why haven't you been eaten by a shark yet?
He will eventually die, but not yet. So yeah, this is the time when we Nova and Matt, the son, are bonding, because she keeps on like showing these scars on her leg, but like not. I cut myself shaving, but it's clearly like bite marks. it's obvious.
Mm.
He's like, oh yeah, I fell off of something when I was 2, and shows the scar that doesn't exist. But yeah, she gives her Quint-esque backstory of when she was a child, she and her grandfather went out with a group of people. They fell in the water. Sharks ate everybody but her. She floated on the water for a couple of days, and just as she was being rescued, a shark bit her out of spite.
Can I tell you that in the book, in the How to Survive a Sharknado and Other Unnatural Disasters, in the Sharknado section, the part that says from the kitchen of Nova Clark, grilled shark steak has her whole speech. Why I love this recipe.
Oh, no.
When I was 7, my grandpa took me fishing on one of those day charter deals with his friends. The boat went down. My grandfather put me inside this little raft for safety. Suddenly, all these sharks started swarming. By morning, my grandfather, everyone, they were all gone. 6 people went into the water, and 1 little girl came out. The sharks took the rest. They took my grandfather, so I really hate sharks. Except on my dinner plate, lightly seasoned. And then it has a legitimate recipe for how to grill a shark steak.
That's beautiful. I love that. That's great. I'm very happy that exists. Good. So Nova really hates sharks, and now we know why. And she has to say at the end of that, and that's why I really hate sharks. As if we figured it out. We get it.
Like we knew. Yeah, it's not a surprise.
And that's why you like sharks. No, okay, you resent. No, you hate. Okay, you hate. Good. Got it. Great. So yes, they dish out tools. They build bombs. They bond. Nova and Matt go up in a helicopter. Everyone else stays down and just tries to survive. We see another news report, which is Johnny with an eye. She keeps saying it's Johnny with an eye, and she gets killed.
Yes.
Which I liked the running joke of that, and then she dies. There were 2 other flight students who never speak until they die, and they're going to die because they're just kind of red shirts, and they die beautifully. They both die at some of my favourite deaths of the film. And one goes to save, pushes the other one out of the way, and then a shark rams into him, and he gets impaled on the spikes on the front of the truck.
God.
And the other one, a shark just comes flying through the air and takes off his arm, and then takes off his leg, and just gets crushed by another flying shark. It's excellent. This is the point where we're full on Sharknado territory. The sharks flying around everywhere, and you've got Nova and Matt in the helicopter. Dropping the bombs. The first 2 go fine. Take them out. No problem. I think it's at this point that Finn cuts a shark in half with a chainsaw.
Yes.
Yeah. There's flying sharks and there's a chainsaw. We wanted this to happen, then it happened.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Box ticked.
Yep.
The third Sharknado, the bomb doesn't work. Nova's trying to, there's a shark grips onto the landing gear, she's stabbing at it, and she falls out of the helicopter, and just cleanly into a shark.
Absolutely. Another shark that was flying around it, just swimming by flying by with its mouth open, and she falls directly into right into its mouth.
Yep, no chewing required. The shark was not trying to eat her.
No.
The shark is probably, if anything, more surprised than she is.
Yeah, the shark was flying through the air screaming in terror.
Yeah, and now it's just got a person in there too. And everyone's like, I guess Nova's dead then.
It was definitely a surprise.
Yeah. Baz has died at this point. Baz has died at this point as well. He's been taken out trying to set his bomb up. But that's much less of a big deal because it's good. As far as it's good that Baz has died. But yeah, it's a surprise that Nova didn't make it. As we assume. Did she get a surprise? I don't know. So Matt makes an emergency landing. The helicopter's out of control, but he lands it fine. And Finn's like, I'm gonna finish this. Takes Baz's massive bomb in the truck, and he's gonna sacrifice himself again and just drive headfirst into the tornado. He and Baz spoke earlier that how this is a one-way trip. There's no way coming back from this. You're driving in there, and that's it. So Baz is like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself, but with an Australian accent. And but he died first. So I'm gonna sacrifice myself. I can't do. Yeah.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Goodbye, mates. I'm gonna sacrifice myself. Put another Baz in the tornado.
Nova had been very successful in that they got 2 of the 3 tornadoes, and then Baz was unsuccessful in getting 1 of them. So then Finn decides he has to get the last one. As opposed to, again, simply waiting it out. Tornadoes go away on their own. But whatever.
The Old People's Home seems to be pretty sturdily built, given that they didn't know there was a tornado until very recently. So just hanker down in there. My favourite part of the film happened at this point when very throwaway joke of a shark landing outside Grauman's Chinese Theatre and making a shark-shaped imprint in the concrete.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm on board for that. Finn drives the truck into the tornado, gives the little hang 10 thing at the tornado.
Yes, of course.
Kind of wiggling it with a hand at it as he ducks out, pressing the nose. Ear goes in, blows up. The day is saved.
Last tornado has been defeated.
Yeah. But there's still, that just means sharks are now going to fall from the air.
Right, yeah, because they disrupt the tornado, but the tornado was holding up all the sharks, and so now with the tornado gun, all the sharks begin to fall down. It is absolute insanity.
I mean, we skipped over the fact that from the ground, Finn manages with a handgun to one-shot kill a giant shark way up in the air, like by a helicopter. He just shoots it. And I did enjoy when you shoot a shark, it falls down.
Yeah.
The tornado only works on live sharks. It seems.
Yeah, why aren't more of the sharks inside the tornado dead? Another great question.
And so sharks raining down. Finn is yelling at his family, like who are rushing towards him to thank their savior, like get back inside. There's sharks coming from the sky, and they're like they just keep running towards him. And he sees there's a shark coming to take out his daughter, which, as far as I'm concerned, fine. She has done nothing.
She's useless.
She is the least character in this film.
I mean, Matt's up there flying a helicopter saving the day, and Claudia is just still on her phone.
Yeah, Claudia and Finn had a hard time, like, oh, you never have time for me. You always have time for Matt. And I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, what?
Matt is flying.
Why should he spend time with you? You're nothing. Like, be interesting. Do something. Be helpful. Clearly, you've taken after your mother. And
I believe she's recast in the next movie.
Good. I mean, I have no problem with Aubrey Peoples, but just the character is just she does nothing. So yeah, Finn sees a shark coming towards his daughter. Instead of like pulling her out of the way, he pushes her out of the way and stands where she was standing.
Yes.
And revs his chainsaw and jumps headfirst into the descending great white shark.
Yeah, which is the biggest shark we've seen to date in this movie, I believe.
Yeah, it's certainly big enough to fit a person inside. I mean, I can't imagine it would fit more than that. But it certainly can fit one person with an active chainsaw. And yeah, it swallows him whole, something we've seen once before in this film.
Mm-hmm.
And the shark lands, and everyone's like, oh no, Finn got eaten by a shark. And then what's that? We hear a revving noise, and emerging ever so slowly through the foam shark guts, it's a chainsaw blade. And his Finn comes out.
Right.
Oh my God, he's alive. He comes out of the shark. And then reaches
the first time I saw that live on TV, when I tell you I was yelling and laughing, and it is the most thing. And like you said, it's not fast. Like he hacks his, and I felt like they were like, with foam blood thing, take your time. We want to use every inch of it.
This is the set piece of the film. And yeah, he pulls out, and it's just miraculous that he would be alive and survive the shark. Nothing more miraculous could possibly. Oh, sorry, he reaches in, and Nova's in there.
Yes, pulled out Nova, and she's fine.
And like when Nova was eaten by the shark, Finn did not see that happen.
No, he didn't.
It had to be for Matt to land, for him to be like, "Where's Nova?" And they'd be like, "She didn't make it." So he couldn't have known.
No.
That she was in that one, even if
he
had
just
known.
Happened to the shark that swallowed Nova on accident happened to be falling at his daughter on accident. He jumped inside the shark on accident. I'm not sure that was his plan. He was just looking to chainsaw it, and then was able to rescue Nova on accident.
Like it's been some time since she was eaten or swallowed.
Yes.
Yes. I need Mark to do a data post on the likelihood of this happening.
She's using those John Voight Anaconda rules where you get to pop back out and wink.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, because she comes out, she's unconscious, so Matt has to give her like mouth to mouth, and then she comes back to life, and great, and they hug. They're not quite kissing yet. They're just they're at the hug. They're at the I fancy your dad kind of thing. But yeah, the fact that the chainsaw didn't hit her. Like, skipping entirely over the fact that this is miraculously the same shark that ate her and that he's gone in it as well. He's going head first with a live chainsaw. He's going blade first.
So even if she was okay in there, surely she's been sliced in two.
Right. I feel like his initial plan was doing an Iron Man in the Avengers of just going through that big flying thing and blasting his way out the other side.
Yes.
He's just gonna chainsaw through it, and then he gets the subway in and goes, wait a minute, hang on, there's another person in there. I think I recognize her. I think she used to work for me 3 hours ago. Quick, divert the lady out of her way. Not far enough that it will start cutting through the shark yet. There needs to be a big moment built up. It's just wonderful. It's
Oh my goodness, it is. It's easily one of the best on screen.
yeah. I struggle to think of a more incredible sequence from any of the films we've covered. Just it's up there. It's so very up there. It's
Absolute pure nonsense on every level. And again, there's this movie. Yes, most of the cast commits and is there for it. Sarah Reed. Ian Ziering. Oh my God. The level of commitment this man brings to this role. He unashamedly and unironically dives into that shark with his chainsaw, and it's flawlessly executed.
It is. Yeah, it's balletic. It's
The level of commitment and enthusiasm he brings. He carries the movie.
he truly does. Yeah, and so he's now covered in blood. April Tara Reid makes a half-hearted attempt to kind of smear some of it off his face. Gives him a big kiss. Her face now covered in blood as well. Finn. Because of course that's how you have to end this film. You have to say Finn because the character's called Finn.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you see how it works on two levels because his name is Finn, and sharks also have fins.
And it's French for N. And we get the song. We get the Sharknado song.
Right. God, it's so.
Because of course we do.
It's just too much. It's just too much. It's almost exhausting watching it because you're just laughing so hard.
Yeah, I kind of want to pull up the lyrics.
Yes, absolutely.
My keyboard is going very slowly. So the lyrics of the closing credits Sharknado song, which is called "The Ballad of Sharknado."
Yep, as it should be.
The band name is called Quint, all capital letters. The lyrics go: Shark, 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 go, 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 run away from the Sharknado.
Mm-hmm.
It's your greatest foe, foe, foe.
There you go.
Don't want to get eaten by
the Sharknado.
By sea. I see that Sharknado coming for me. I can't run. I can't hide. I just don't want to die. Sharknado. Sharknado. Break and twist and you will shout. Those fish are going to take you out. It's got teeth. It's got speed. Destruction is all it needs. No, no. No, no. No, no, no. Run away from the Sharknado. Blood is gonna flow, flow, flow. So warn that guy in the Sharknado. Warn that guy in the Sharknado. The guy's in the Sharknado. He knows. You don't need to...
He doesn't need an additional warning. You figure he's up on what's happening?
I think so. And maybe if he's in it, maybe his time's up. His is the blood that's going to flow, flow, flow. Anyway, Hammerhead's one scary guy. Mako's going to make you cry. Thresher bites. Bye, bye, bye. We get some NSYNC in there. Great White's coming. Open wide. Stormy weather. Suicide. There's no place that you can hide. You can't stop it if you try. Except they can. They stop it. They try and they succeed. The song is a lie. So. I'm going to fight the Sharknado. Bombs are going to explode. Plode. We're all gonna die in the Sharknado. No, lots of them live. And that's the lyrics to this wonderful song.
Oh,
it's
no
God. Deepest bluest.
It's
for what is.
Maybe not as good, but it's close. It's real close.
I wasn't expecting a Sharknado theme song. I should have been.
Yes.
I truly should have been, but I wasn't expecting it. And that is Sharknado. We'd covered it far more detail than I thought we would, but I'm so glad we did. Because it's. I doubt we'll cover the following ones quite so deep.
No, and to be fair, like I think, was it the director who described the movie as like, listen, there's a flood and a storm. Don't worry about it.
I feel like he's missing a very vital plot point of the shark.
The sharks, yeah. It's, again, you can't fault a movie where everything you need to know is in the title. Sharknado, period. Literally, the tagline, it's enough said. That's the tagline for this movie. Enough said. Sharknado.
So this is going to... There's an interview on Wikipedia that says, this will surprise you, the cast had to imagine the presence of sharks because they used CGI throughout, which I find surprising. Yeah. Anyway.
No real sharks were harmed in the making of
Slash
this movie.
used.
Slash
Yes.
used. Slash featured. Slash consulted. Yeah, there's no real sharks in this movie at all.
No.
Just the stock footage that they use over and over and over again.
Yep.
They had well, you'll probably talk about this when you get to the second one. They did have a contest in naming the second one. Again, the tagline on this one, Sharknado, enough said.
Yes.
With the second one, I submitted Sharknado 2, taking a bite out of the Big Apple because, it goes to New York. I thought that was pretty clever. They went with Sharknado 2, the second one, which,
yes.
Again, very difficult to argue with that. Flawless.
Yeah, I mean, then you have 3, Oh Hell No, 4, The Fourth Awakens. I don't like it. We'll see when we get there. But then Global Swarming for 5, I think that's great. And then The Last Sharknado, It's About Time.
Because it's about time. There's
about
time travel in the last one.
But also, it's about time it's the last one.
Yeah.
Yes. It works on 2 levels.
Works on multiple levels. Like these movies are very clever.
Wait, there's a Sharknado spin-off of Heart of Sharkness. Is that about the making of Sharknado? It better be.
I don't know. I'm not aware of that, but I need to be.
It doesn't have a Wikipedia page. I'll find out. Great. Did you have anything else you want to talk about Sharknado?
Oh Lord, let me look at my notes. I don't think so. What I liked about it was how much everyone got on board with it. It was so stupid and so silly, and how, like the National Weather Service released a tweet saying like, yes, in case of a Sharknado, here's what to do. The level of unification of joy that surrounded this movie, I just haven't seen since, and it was amazing.
So Sharknado Heart of Sharkness is a mockumentary about fictional filmmaker David Moore, who made the filmmaker who first dreamed of sharks in a tornado. I don't know.
Okay.
This isn't going to be seen. It's on YouTube. It's 1 hour and 22 minutes long.
Wow, that seems like a
too
lot.
long. That's the length of a Sharknado. Yeah, no, not me. Okay, 2 features left to do. How is Sharknado similar to Deep Blue Sea? Quite a long list. Shark fin hunting, like in Deep Blue Sea 2.
Yep.
Underestimating the danger of sharks.
Yes.
Because the guy on the boat at the start was like, the sharks should be scared of us because he's a moron.
Yes.
There's an oncoming storm. It plays a big part in the film. There's sharks. Putting on a wetsuit. A woman undressing. Sharks bursting through a window. Shark kills homaging Jaws. There's a tiger shark at one point. There's one Australian cast member. We've mentioned it. There's sharks indoors, like inside. A shelving unit falls over in the water. Multiple people are eaten mid-sentence. Finn uses himself as bait. There's a big explosion, bigger than you think expect it to be. It's the car. Nova has a harrowing backstory, just like Russell and Quint. There's a helicopter. A shark is electrocuted because it lands on electric pylons. A shark bites someone's arm off. A fire is started to kill sharks. An old guy says to get away from a window. And a shark-themed end credits song. Not the first time we've had that. Shark Night 3D also had a custom song for the end credits, which we talked about. We did a whole episode just on that music video. If you've not seen Shark Night 3D, watch it. It's okay. But what's great is the end credits music video, written by Dustin Milligan from Schitt's Creek. Have you seen Shark Night 3D, Jeanette?
I have not.
Okay, watch the end credits. Don't watch
All
the
right,
films,
we'll do.
We covered the film, and the credits started, and Nick Rehak and I both stopped watching, and we had a listener comment to us and like, "What about the music video?" And we're like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh, see.
So we had to do a whole other episode just about this ridiculous music video. Anyway, and finally, how deep, how blue, and it's the new season, Jeanette. You don't know this. How sea is Deep Blue Sea. We have a whole new column for how to rank these films. Listeners,
I feel
Jeanette,
like this one is, if I just guess, this one is not particularly deep. Most of the time they're running along city streets.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I've gone through the film and estimated the depth of what's happening on screen on average how blue the action on screen is.
There's no blue.
And how much of it takes place at sea.
Oh.
Percentage-wise. It's
I love it.
It's new, but it's also kind of straightforward. So deep blue sea is, of course, about 14.5 meters or 47.5 feet deep, 31% blue, and 89% of deep blue sea takes place at sea.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's that low. Shouldn't deep blue sea be higher?
You'd think it would be, but there's anything in a helicopter or in a plane is air.
Okay.
I separate it into air, land, water, but then sea. It has to actually be in the sea. So if it's like in a river, then that would be water.
And there is that office scene in the beginning.
Exactly. And there's
what's his name has no lines.
Ronnie Cox. And a bunch of the credits take place in the void, which is not air, land, sea, or water. It's just the void.
All right, fair.
So what percentage of Sharknado do you think takes place at sea?
7.5%.
12.4. That's what I got.
Okay. Right.
It's everything on the boat at the start. It's
the opening sequence and then Finn and Baz having a conversation while surfing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But most of Sharknado this is quite a land-based film.
It is, yes.
Some stuff. Not much in the air, actually. For a film about tornadoes, it's only 6.5% in the air. But whatever, that's fine. And then I have too many tabs at this point. Unwieldy spreadsheet. It's where's it gone? Yeah, 11% blue. So slightly bluer than The Legend of Hercules, slightly less blue than The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. It's between two Rennie Harlin films. And depth-wise, this is 8.5 meters or 28 feet up in the air on average because of all the stuff that happens up in helicopters.
Tornadoes, sure. Yeah.
And very little takes place underwater.
And the fact that the sharks are flying.
Yeah. Practically nothing takes place. It's only those few stock photos of sharks underwater that takes place underwater. Everything else is on the surface or higher. Yeah. So it's higher than Ghost Ship, less high than Ravenous. Because, why wouldn't it be? So that will do it for the first Sharknado covered. We're not doing Sharknado 2 won't be next week. It'll be at some point. I'm gonna space these out.
God, you have to. It's too much to do all at once.
Yeah, that would be a real terrible afternoon. I'm gonna binge every Sharknado film. It's like, no.
Oh God, please don't.
I'm never gonna do that. It's not gonna happen. But thank you, Jeanette, for joining me on my inaugural dive into Sharknado. Do you have anything that you want to plug? Anything you want to promote?
You know what? As I always do on this podcast, because we just left Shark Week, please feel free to go to oceana.org and give. Also, go to Saving the Blue and give. Oceana.org is important because they are out there fighting shark finning, attempting to pass more legislation, get it banned in totality across the globe, which there are places that still allow it, and it is a brutal and ridiculous practice.
Yes.
So by all means, support Oceana. And then Saving the Blue, which is my favorite shark conservation group. There's a lot of them out there. Saving the Blue I like because it's education-based, and they're out of the Bahamas. And if you follow them on Instagram and the socials, they often have research trips where they are looking for volunteers. So you can actually go and participate in shark research trips where they catch, measure, tag, etc. So, look up Saving the Blue.
And a great way to support them is buy some of their merch. They have cool t-shirts.
Oh, they have amazing t-shirts. I have one on right now.
I have one from somewhere else. Not from them. But
there
it's from a different organization I can't remember, and I can't look at it without taking my t-shirt off, and I'm not going to do that because I'm cold. And also I'm wearing headphones, and it's been inappropriate. Good. Saving the Blue. And I'm going to plug your site because you didn't. The Mundane Adventures of a Fangirl.
Oh, yes.
That's where you can read everything Jeanette writes about
films.
Sorry,
yeah, there's... Quite honestly, nothing has been happening on there lately. I am working on this has been a very busy summer. I don't know what happened, but my goodness, stuff just nonstop. So I plan on getting back. Haven't watched the new, Axel F yet. Will go see Deadpool Wolverine.
Yes, same.
I enjoyed the most recent Bad Boys. I will strongly recommend that if you haven't seen it. My goodness,
I haven't
the
yet.
Payoff of Reggie after 3 movies was wonderful.
I'm having a real anti-cinema year. I saw Furiosa. Before that, I didn't go to cinema since January. It's been a real dry year for me cinema-wise. But I've got Twisters this weekend because I'm on it.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
I'm going to be on Out Now with Aaron and Abe to talk about it. That will be out at this point by the time this comes up. So go listen to me on there talking about Twisters, and then Deadpool Wolverine. I will very much go and see that as well. and then that'll probably be it for the year.
Yeah.
I still can't believe I still haven't seen Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. I don't know why.
You know what? I liked that. I liked it.
I want to see it. I love James Acaster. He's in there. There's a massive budget James Acaster film, and I haven't seen it. Anyway,
I know which guy you're talking
the
about.
nerdy English guy.
Yep, got it.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
He has a food podcast called Off Menu. That I adore that podcast, where they talk to people about their favorite starter, main course, drink, side dish, dessert. And they've had like Paul Rudd's been on there because they're in Ghostbusters together. Loads of great people. They had the most chaotic episode they had was Dan Aykroyd, because he came on and did not understand the whole premise and rattled his menu off in like 5 minutes and then spent an hour plugging vodka.
Yep, that sounds like him.
Yeah, and they released it as a bonus episode because like, this isn't a real thing. This just kind of happened to us, so now it can happen to you too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Off Menu. My plug is lifeversusfilm.com, where even less happens than happens at Mundane Adventures of Vanguard. But you can follow this podcast all over social media at Deep Blue Sea Pod, or email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com. If you want to talk about Sharknado 3, 4, or 5, let me know. Or if I should. if not, I'm going to suck back around and Jeanette will be back to talk about one of them. Which would be great.
That's right.
I'd love to have that happen. Next week, where are we in the schedule? Why will I close that tab? I think next week will be chapter 2 of Deep Blue Sea 1. There we go, why not? Yeah. Because we're doing it again, as you know. Yeah, Deep Blue Sea 1, chapter 2, with the aforementioned silent Ronnie Cox. We'll be talking, he might be silent as a guest on that episode. Who knows? You'll never know. So that's next week. But as for this week, as for Sharknado, thank you once again to my guest, Jeanette Ward.
So much fun. Thank you for indulging me in these terrible, terrible movies.
Hey, thank you for helping me enjoy them. I have been Jake Lure, and I'll Deep Blue see you next week.